All right, let's get into our topics.
Truth, lies, shenanigans.
All right, Lizzie, you got this mama wearing some booty shorts in her kid's school. Tell us all
Well, I
about it.
kind of think that Gianni's topic was a good segue into my topic
Good
as it
segue. The
relates
Wow.
booty
to
shorts.
obviously asses, booties, right? But also as it relates to decorum. Like I honestly think we've lost the level of decorum in society. So this picture
Yeah.
blew up on Twitter on Thursday. It's a picture of a young lady um, escorting a toddler. The baby looks like she's maybe 3 or 4 to school, first day of school probably. And she has on what looks like kind of no top, or if it's a top, it's probably like I don't know,
A
maybe a
tank top.
bra or something, a tank top. But then she also has on booty shorts and her cheeks are kind of hanging out. So a lot of people, went in on Twitter, went in online saying that this is inappropriate, this is disgusting. How could you do this? These are children. But then there was another side, devil's advocate. People were talking about how, first of all, it's creepy that someone took a picture of her. And I'm like, well, I mean, if you go out looking like this in public, you can't be mad if someone took a picture. Although I do not approve of folks taking pictures and posting them online without people's consent, but you're in public
Yeah.
at a school with little
Mm-hmm.
kids. But also there was the argument that, this is another way of shaming Black women and their body. And so I have an opinion about this, obviously, but I'm curious about what my panel thinks. Like, do you think that this is appropriate attire for taking your kid to school? Or do you think it's much ado about nothing in today's society?
Yeah. Before we do that real quick, I just want to point out RV, I think the name is online on Twitch and says, who in the world will sell farts in here? All right.
He said, what?
What
What they say?
who in the world would sell farts in here?
Thank you.
Right?
WTF. All
What
right,
y'all
Gianni.
think about
What do you think,
Miss
Gianni,
Girl?
about
Miss
this
Girl.
picture here?
About this
Yeah, about this young lady here.
horrible, guys. Come on. I mean, if any of us saw this, we would just be like, we would want to look the other way. It's just, I mean, it's just uncomfortable. It's awkward. Why are you dressing like this? But, but the big but, literally, I think that
Johnny still got the
You're on
puns coming.
fire, girl. What?
She came prepared for the final show.
She
My
still got puns
goodness.
coming today.
But no, I think that if they did enforce like a dress code for parents, I think there would be too much of like, where's the fine line? Because there's parents that could come from like the gym and they'd be sporting like a sports bra and like tight clothes, or like even a parent that comes from like construction and he looks like dirty and slightly like homeless or something. But you know what I mean? So where does it where does it no, I love
That's
construction
fair.
workers. It's a necessary
But no,
job.
it's a fair point.
So I just feel like yes, it's inappropriate. Maybe the teacher should pull her aside and speak to her because she's an adult. She's not like a kid. So they could just converse with her and just be like, listen, this is not appropriate. I would say that. And if it continues, I don't know. I don't know.
Barbie.
So the other picture that we had for this was what seemed to be the response from the individual, but the Twitter handle was DJ Strap on Bimbo. So this individual clearly does not hide that she's a hypersexual person or that she wants to at least be perceived as one. So, I mean, she's happy to flaunt her sexuality and more power to her. But for all of the other aunties out there who think that this is okay, I want to remind you that grade school is not your venue. Do better. It's inappropriate attire for the location. There should be a dress code to enter the school because no kid needs to see your butt hanging out. No kid needs to see your girls restrained in your little tube top. And I think that most parents would agree that their child does not need to see you flaunting your camel toe. So please show some decorum. There's a time and place. Is this another example of a Black woman being shamed? I don't care what color her skin is. You could run this picture through every color filter in Photoshop, and it doesn't change the fact that this just isn't right.
All right.
Kids don't
Um,
sexualize though. I
that's
will.
and that was my point. That was going to be my point. I just think I think in general we over sexualize women anyway. Is it socially inappropriate? Yeah, sure, sure. It's because we don't accept it. We don't think it's appropriate, but she can wear whatever she wants. I mean, sure, there's some some buttocks showing, but I've been to beaches a lot lately, and I mean, they damn near wear don't.
This isn't
Hey,
the beach.
Don't wear
But
anything.
still,
but there's a
still,
point. There's a point in your swim attire versus
it's
coming in
why
after you're doing the walk, looking like you just did the walk of shame, or you just came from the club and taking your toddler to school where other children are. Like, let's be real here.
all I'm
Let's be
saying is
real here.
that's a
There's,
social thing, and I think it's the parents who have the issue, not the children, because the children are not sexually looking at her butt and saying, "Ooh, look at her butt." These are the
but
parents looking at the butt
but the
saying, "Hey,
thing
this is a
is,
problem."
I don't know what type of child you were, but I would have known at 3, 4, 5 that this is not appropriate because we could not walk around the house with booty shorts like this. We had to be covered up. And so if I'm a parent, I'm going to the school and saying, okay, there needs to be a dress code because believe it or not, there are dress codes for the students that attend that school. No student,
Mhm.
young female in that school will be able to wear this. So why can a
There
parent
was a
who's
there was a
dropping
dress
off a
code
child
in this particular school, is what you're saying?
in
In most public
there's
schools in
no
America.
school in America where a student can wear this during the day. None. None. Guarantee you. None.
But I don't think there's a dress
And
code preventing it necessarily in all schools.
absolutely
Yeah,
there is.
it's
You
the
So
rule
every
with your
school has a dress code,
finger.
They have
It's
regulations for attire. Absolutely.
the
in most
fingertips.
in actually in my
Maybe most,
thank you, Gianni. In most schools, now it may be different for these little charter schools that people send their kids to
Yeah.
because they make their own rules, even though they take public
and
funds,
that's
but
my
that's
point.
another story. But but a lot of times charter schools tend to be more strict than the public schools.
Many
Mhm.
times.
Definitely private schools, they make, up their own rules, but I guarantee you students are not walking around with their ass
Well,
cheeks out.
what's the difference between this and yoga pants?
What do you mean yoga pants? Yoga pants are covering things up. I don't
Okay.
see ass cheeks in yoga pants.
It's-
And in a lot of
but I'm
schools,
saying the difference
in a,
is that
in a, but in a lot of schools, yoga pants, leggings, all of those things are not
Yeah,
allowed,
they are
are
not
not
allowed to.
Mm.
acceptable,
for a parent
are
to
not
wear,
acceptable. No,
No, for
for
kids.
I'm
and we
talking
don't,
about students. I'm talking
right,
about for
eh,
students because right now there is no dress code for parents.
right. So of course I
But
wouldn't
even with
expect
yo,
student to
but
wear
even with
this.
yoga pants, you're covered up. And the question was Gianni brought up a point about okay, what if you're covered coming from something? I think if you have a child, you have a responsibility to be prepared for shit. You could put a t-shirt in the back seat. You could put some sweatpants on. Like
I,
this is not what
I
we
still
want
think
to
I
sell
still
to
think we
our
are over
children. We do
sexualizing
not.
women too much. I mean,
But in this case, she's over sexualizing herself.
I'm
There are stores that
eventually I'm gonna get this
there are
thought out.
there are stores that she would not be able to enter wearing this. White women, black women, Latina women are getting kicked out of Disney World for inappropriate attire. She would not be able to
Yep.
get on a plane with this on. So come on. Like let's be real
What do
here.
you mean she
This
wouldn't be
is
able to
not
get on a plane?
appropriate. You
I've
can't wear
seen
this
women
on a
on a
plane.
plane. I've seen women on a plane wearing
For
stuff like that.
and I can tell you, go look it up. Go look not with her ass cheeks hanging out like that, Neo. You are a lie. And go look it
Or
up.
something close
Women
to
have
it.
no 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 no.
but, but
Don't
I
try
was
to
still
cop
trying to
out
get this
now.
point out. I'm still trying to get this point out.
But go look up the stories. Women have been put off of planes for inappropriate attire.
I,
Yep.
I'm sure
It's
it's
a
happened.
thing. It's a
Okay.
thing. And so I do think if I'm running a school, if I'm the damn superintendent, if I'm the principal, no. You put on some sweatpants, put on a t-shirt. That is not a lot to ask. It really isn't. Especially when you're dealing
So
with youth,
I
with
still
our
feel
youth.
as though I'm gonna
absolutely.
try. Hold on, Rob. I'm trying to get this thought out. All right, I keep getting cut off. so, uh, I think that we're over sexualizing women. And in general, historically, we've over sexualized women in general. We've created a social stigma, and it's created by adults. because of men looking at women like pieces of meat and women feeling some kind of way about that, especially wives. And then, of course, TVs and movies don't help with the sexualization of women. Although I will say it probably has helped with desensitizing us to sexualization of women and, people feeling like this is okay to wear. I mean, if you think about the 50s, before TV was really a thing, they had to wear clothes to their ankles. Women did, and men, men didn't look right without suits and ties. Now it's relatively normal for dudes and women to don streetwear with their butts hanging out. Shoot, boys. I mean, you see men with their butts hanging out all the time.
I
Lizzo,
So
would
if we
say the
remove the
same.
gender
Ooh, I
bias,
would
Neil, let's say I walked into school wearing this outfit. I'm going to cover
wearing
up
a
my
speedo.
breast meats and
No,
my
Rob,
dirty
wearing a
skin.
speedo. Wearing a speedo,
Wear,
Rob. Wearing a speedo.
Wearing a
You got
speedo
your
and a
junk.
little
Just
tube top,
listen out.
Neil. So now let's have the
And a
conversation about me walking in with a tube top and a speedo, dropping off my granddaughter at school.
It's
Is
not
it
yeah.
appropriate,
appropriate.
Neil? Have I
It's
been
not appropriate.
hypersexualized? Is it okay?
yeah, I
Is
think
it
it is over
attractive?
sexualized. I don't think the kids care.
I think they would
There was
care.
and you brought up Lizzo. I remember Lizzo was one of my topics this
Yeah, I
year.
remember we
When
had a
she came
conversation about
when
it
she came to the basketball game with her
with her
ass
her
out,
buttless
soaking,
chaps, but
soaking
whatever it
up,
was,
secreting
sitting
all
on the
over the
chair.
seat. It's not appropriate. Now, if she
Yeah,
wants to do
but
that
she's
at her,
also
if,
she's
if
also made large women feel comfortable in their
you
bodies
can
as
make
well.
you can make, but she could do that on her own time. She could do that at her concerts. This
She's
was a
like not in
basketball
school.
game. Not in school, not at a basketball game where people have not paid money to see that. That's the point I'm making with Lizzo. She wants to do that on stage for her concert. Girl, knock yourself out. Work it. Like what's her name? Megan Thee Stallion, body, 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 whatever that song is, do it. But you don't do it in a public place where people have not paid for that, where the expectation is you're going to have some decorum. And at that same basketball game, they were throwing people out about signs that referred to LGBTQ stuff. So
Oh
hypocrite
wow.
much? Hypocrite much? But yeah, I would say the same thing, Rob, if this were a guy who came into the school in speedos, if a guy came into the school with no shirt on, like come on. If we
I,
want our kids to get back to be having a certain level of decorum, we have to set the example as adults. We
I
have
s-
to set the example as adults.
I still don't. I mean, I still don't see how you're making the difference that. I mean, when again those same kids spent the whole summer at the beach watching women and men in
But there,
speedos and
but
everything
there,
else, and there's
well,
nothing
first of
wrong
all, you
with
can't.
that.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, you can't even say those same kids because you don't know if any of these kids went to the beach. Second,
Okay, of course I'm
the second,
generalizing. I don't know if this
second,
particular young
second,
girl went to the beach.
there's a point,
That
there's a
doesn't make
purpose
sense.
in wearing a bathing suit. Yes, it is. I'm just responding to what you said. There's a purpose in wearing a bathing suit at a pool, at a beach. There's no purpose in this outfit in taking this
There's no
child's attention
purpose
to
to
be
wearing a
stored.
thong versus wearing a full bathing suit at a beach. What are you talking about? There's women wearing thongs constantly where you basically see everything. What are you talking about?
Okay, so there's
I
no
feel like
purpose in
this.
wearing a Speedo either, but that's still the
Yeah.
beach. It's
There's
still
plenty
the
of
Right,
banana
beach.
but
hammocks
the
out there
point
It's
too.
is,
appropriate time. But it's the
you're
expectation for the
defining
beach.
it.
But
But
no, but it's the expectation for the beach. You take your child to the
how do you
beach,
know that this
knowing
woman
people are going to have.
didn't expect to take her child inside and was just in and just had to
That's
take her
why I
there?
said, as a parent,
Be
and this is
I
prepared as
think
a
you got
parent.
it's the
she's
parents
not
over
she's not the
sexualizing.
she's not the child's mother. She claims she's the niece.
All
I'm
right,
sorry, she claims she's the auntie.
we gotta stop.
Be prepared.
All right.
Be prepared. Because would she go on a job interview with this if she wants to work in corporate
She
America?
might if it was corporate America. Okay,
And yeah,
I was gonna
exactly.
Yeah.
say she might.
I ain't talking
She might
about
go to
She
at
might
strip
be
a
on her
strip
way to
club.
work.
club. I'm talking about at corporate America.
She
No,
might get a
there's
nice
time and
job.
a place
Shoot.
for everything. And why don't you want to set a good example for children? And I don't buy into the argument that children don't know. You are underestimating
Yeah.
kids' intelligence.
Okay, we
They
got a lot.
most
Yep.
certainly
Let's get
not.
to these comments. We
They
gotta
most
move on.
certainly not.
There's a lot of great comments online. All right, so we've got start at the top. Um, Okay. Wow, that's a lot. All right. Uh, Jacqueline Robinson started with that poor child. Robin Johnson, she doesn't have on a bonnet or pajamas and has clothes on. I feel meh about her outfit. As a mom who just literally returned from shopping with her curvy teens, some clothes just look away on body types. Yeah, her curvy clothes look away on body types. Right. That it looks different on her particular butt than it would on maybe a
This
different
is what
person's
the big
butt who's smaller.
really.
But why
They
do we
I
got to
don't.
deal with half naked butts in school for children?
I
That's
mean,
my
but
point.
anyway. They recently
Like,
tried to fire a woman stating that she was too curvy for preschool. The kids don't care what you look like. I wouldn't wear it though. Um,
That's true. I respect that.
but that's a different topic. It's deeming that someone is
no,
too
it's part of the
curvy.
topic.
It's not part of the topic
No,
because you can't do anything about being curvy. You can do
Oh,
something
the,
about
the curvy is
having
what
your
you're
ass
talking about.
cheeks out. Yeah,
All right,
you could do something about having your ass cheeks out.
Mike Wolf. She's just dropping the kid off. She's not teaching the class.
Yeah, but she's walking through the school.
All right,
If she was
Jacqueline
just if she
Robinson.
was just sitting in her car dropping the kid off, it would not be a topic of conversation.
Jacqueline Robinson. Children are cruel, Neo, and her child wouldn't hear the end of it. Plus, they repeat what they hear their parents say at home. She can't be more than like 5 or 6 years old. This young girl. Her kids aren't saying.
She's walking through the school, Neo.
Those kids are not talking about her mama's butt.
Okay, I don't know what type of school you
Oh,
went to, but
okay.
I
5 and 6
most
year
certainly would
olds are
have been talking.
not.
I most certainly would have been talking about her mama's
Hell
butt.
yes,
100%.
No, 5 and 6
Neo.
year olds are not doing that.
100%.
Who was the last? Who was the
100%.
last 5 and 6 year old you went through talking to? Was talking about somebody's butt hanging out.
Me,
Really,
well,
Neo?
because they
You
didn't
don't
have their
remember?
butts hanging out, but I certainly talked about somebody's mama at 5 and 6.
All right,
Believe that.
all right.
Believe that.
Dave Boyega says, "Sorry, Neo, I'm with Liz Z on this one. The woman is sexualizing herself here." Robin John says, "I agree with Neo. We are making women's bodies as only for sexual purposes." Yep.
Now, I'm,
No,
I'm
clearly for
not making
display
a woman.
also.
What other purpose is this for in a school?
Maybe she was
Again,
just. I mean, maybe this is what she like her pajamas, and she just had to take. She didn't intend to take her kids in.
Maybe
Eh,
like I
She
I
said,
don't know.
there are
I,
other places
Maybe it's
where she
laundry
would not be
day. That's why she
allowed
went in her
to wear
laundry.
underwear.
It
this.
could be laundry day.
There,
I'm just.
like I
It's not
said,
really
there
that
are
bad.
other places where she would not be allowed to wear this. I
Not
think
that serious.
schools should be on that list.
All
I
right.
think schools should be
Yep.
on that list.
I wouldn't wear this.
Is this truth, lies, or shenanigans? Great comments online, by the way, everyone.
This is
Thanks for
This is
participating.
a whole lot of.
shenanigans with a whole lot of no.
It's a little shenanigans. Okay. I mean, I do. I agree with uh, Robin in that
And notice,
I wouldn't wear
and,
it.
and notice, I'm glad that none of us brought up the idea because a lot of the dress codes in schools for girls, the premise is what it's going to do for boys, what the boys' reaction is going to be, how it's going to make the boys feel. And
Mm.
I appreciate that none of that came up in this conversation because I'm not worried about just the boys. I'm worried about both the boys and the girls, little children, period.
Yeah.
Do better, dress better, give them a
All right, we're
better
gonna move on. We're
look,
gonna move on
give
because I
them a
disagree. We're gonna get into
better
another
role model.
conversation. All
I
right.
mean, if when you have your kids, Neo, if you
we go.
want to be walking around with,
The
your
kids
little
don't need to
speedo
be walking around
on.
like. But I mean, there are
No,
kids out there
I said
walking
you.
around like
I
that.
said, I said you, and I guarantee you, Mel ain't gonna want some
All right,
little
well, we got to move
teacher.
on to the
What
next
did the
topic.
teacher? What did the teacher
All
have
right,
her
we got
ass
the where's
hooked
the
on?
mute button? I haven't pulled out the mute button in a long time.